Welcome back to the channel. I am here to react to the just released interview with Donald Trump by my man Shawn Ryan. He has a wonderful podcast. I love watching him interview different guests on different subjects. A lot of stuff is sort of out there, some of the people he brings in, but I love it because it's not all political. It's just all over the spectrum of people that he interviews. Full link to the massive podcast below. Go and subscribe to his show if you enjoy anything that he does. Be sure to check out the full video, and also sub to this channel if you enjoy my content and you want to see more reactions in the future. Let's jump over there.
One of the major concerns in the veteran community is the way that the Afghanistan withdrawal happened.
Terrible.
We had 13 service members killed, one missing an arm and his leg, $7.1 billion in equipment left behind. Allies in Afghanistan have been abandoned, people that we fought alongside with for 20 years. We left the intelligence at our bases that depict where they live, biometrics, everything. Taliban's hunting them down, killing them, raping their wives, raping their kids. We evacuated 120,000 plus Afghans that are unvetted. We have no idea where they're at in our country. And
they're in our country. That's one of the things that isn't talked about very much, is that we actually brought a lot of folks over here that were unvetted.
We're sending them $40 to $87 million a week. It's so bad that I did an interview with Ahmad Massoud. He's the leader of the Afghan resistance.
Right.
Really?
We wanted to get in front of Congress to warn us about the oncoming threat that we're facing because we're funding the Taliban.
Yep.
We had made a petition. It now has almost 300,000 signatures. We got it to Representative McCall. He's done nothing. Not one thing. Why do you think Congress doesn't want to see Massoud?
Just calls them out.
Well, I'm surprised when you say McCauley's a good man.
Just call them out right
there. But I was so against that whole thing. You know, just so you know, I wanted to get out, but I wanted to get out with dignity and strength. I spoke to the head of the Taliban on numerous occasions because they were killing our soldiers. They were snipers, and they were killing our soldiers during Obama and a little bit during me at the beginning. And I heard about it, and I said, get the head of the Taliban. And the press went crazy when they heard I was speaking to him on a telephone.
Right.
And I told him in a, pretty tough way, but nice enough, don't do it. Abdul, his name is. Abdul, he's still there. He's still the head. And I said, don't do it. And he understood that. And in 18 months, not one person.
That's not funny. I'm not laughing at, obviously, the situation. I just find it funny the way sometimes Donald Trump, he will elaborate about a certain subject, but other times he'll just do what he just did. And it cracks me up because of the different way he interacts. He'll just be like, I said, don't do it. But other times he'll go into this elaborate explanation of what he told somebody and the way. So it's just the way he does different things. It just cracks me up sometimes.
Was killed. You know that during my time.
Yes.
Nobody would have been killed. Then we had a rigged election, and they took over, and it started. It started in a lot of places. Russia started to form along the border. Would have never happened if I was president. But and by the way, October 7th would have never happened in Israel because Iran was broke. They had no money to do anything. Now they have $300 billion. They made it all in the last 3.5 years. I said, anybody that buys from, I just wanted to have a deal with Iran. Very simple deal. Can't have a nuclear weapon. That's it. I want them to be happy. I want them to have great lives. I want them to have a great country. Can't have a nuclear weapon. Very simple. And I would have had that deal done within a week after the election, but the election was a disgrace to our country, another disgrace. But with Afghanistan,
there we go.
You had to get out, but we were going to get out with dignity and strength. We were going to take our people out, our Americans.
So a lot of people that I've heard when it first happened, the argument on the pro-Biden side was we just had to get out. Donald Trump didn't do it. From what I remember, and again, I didn't go into a lot of details, but I do remember at that time when Donald Trump did start pushing for the removal of our forces from Afghanistan, it was actually turned down by some of our generals at the time. What their reasoning was, I'm sure they had some reasoning that I'll never understand, but it was turned down by our military generals.
We have people living there, as you said, better than anybody could say it. When you said raping the wives, raping the people, I mean, I assume that could be happening. But can you imagine we didn't take them out? The military ran out first. It was almost like they ran. We didn't remember this. We didn't have one problem for 18 months with them. And the Taliban's rough. They're good fighters. They're ancient fighters in a way, their equipment and everything else, but they're good, very good fighters. But we had no problems. And then when this happened and when I was out, they heard that the military was gone. And I could just imagine somebody coming back and saying, Abdul, the Americans have left. The soldiers are gone. He probably said, you fool. Don't ever tell me that nobody could be so stupid. But Milley was a stupid person, very stupid. You know, we have great generals, but Milley was stupid.
Oh, well, God.
Guys like John Kelly are he's one of the dumbest people I've ever met.
Oh, good God.
A bully, but a weak bully. And, you know, we just have some stupid people. Kelly wasn't so involved in that, but we have some really stupid people at the top. But a little bit lower down, the non-television generals are phenomenal. I took 100% of the ISIS caliphate. You know, I took out ISIS.
I do.
It was supposed to take 5 years. I did it in 3 weeks. And we have great generals and we have great military.
So I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and fact check. I'm doing reactions on a fact checker. But 5 years to 3 weeks, if that's true, then that's, you know, I don't know. It's kind of crazy. He always talks about that, though, in which, I mean, you know, they did do their job. So I'm not talking about that, but I didn't realize, you know, I've never heard the 3 week number. That's kind of crazy.
Military, and they're not woke, Shawn. You know, the people that are woke are the top people. They should all get out. And I'll tell you another.
And he also said television generals. That is a real thing. I would suppose the folks in the background that are making a lot of the high-end calls, you'll probably never see them on TV.
I fired a lot of people when they don't do a good job. I fire them. I think it's important. Biden's never fired anybody. She's never fired anybody. Everybody involved in that horrible, most embarrassing day, you understand that. I think it's the most embarrassing day in the history of our country.
It's humiliating.
I think it told Putin, hey, I'm going to go in now. These guys are nothing. That's what it did. And it gave President Xi of China the right to fly bombers all over Taiwan, you know, which he's doing. I mean, it's just a question of time. Although if I get in, I think it's a different story. But it gave him the right to do things that he never did with me. He never was flying. The other day, they flew 38 bombers over Taiwan. They're surrounded by ships and everything. A lot of bad things are happening there. But
for the people
whoever worked on Afghanistan should be fired. The generals should all be fired. That was the most incompetent thing. They left first, and they left Bagram. Bagram's one of the biggest air bases in the world. You probably know it. You're a military guy. And with the most powerful runways, like 9 feet thick, and, you know, just can handle the biggest loads of cargo and everything. But more importantly, it's 1 hour from where China makes its nuclear weapons, right? And we gave it up, just walked away, just left the lights on, walked away. They left the dogs too, by the way. You know, a lot of people say, what about the dogs? They had a lot of dogs there. The German Shepherd special dogs. Mm-hmm. They left them all. The Taliban doesn't like dogs, by the way.
Why would you leave the dogs?
But they left the dogs. They left the lights on, and they just fled. There was no reason to leave, but they did. We did want to get out, but I wanted to keep Bagram. And I was set to get out. It was enough already. I was going to take all the equipment. First of all, I was going to get the Americans out. Then I would have gotten some of the people that helped us, but you don't want to go crazy with that. And then, you know, the interpreters, etc., because they had some good people that are probably dead now. Yes. You know, the people that got on those planes, that was like survival of the fittest.
Yeah.
The toughest people got on the planes. And those tough people were enemies of ours in many cases.
Yes.
And they got on those planes. And many of the people got on those planes, but they didn't get inside. They were on the outside, and they fell off the plane at 3,000 feet.
Oh, Jesus.
Which is like 3 times the height.
That was some of the worst videos. Again, just on a humanitarian level, watching that video of the people trying to escape, whether or not they were enemies or our friends, it's impossible to know. But you can feel the dire straits of jumping on the outside of a plane that's about to go to 30,000 feet because you know what's going to happen once you get caught by the Taliban. Falling to your death is probably much better than what would have happened to them if they would have gotten caught.
Of the Empire State Building, they fell off the plane. Those scenes of those planes taking off way up in the air, going at 400 miles an hour, and the people falling off the planes.
They won't show those
The whole thing
anymore.
was so horrible.
They won't show that footage anymore.
They don't show it. They don't. Oh, you're right. I never thought of it. You're right.
Yep.
And they never talk about it. You notice? They don't talk about that. They don't talk about the border. And just to bring you up to date, today it was learned that 818,000 jobs that they said were produced were not produced. They don't talk about that. Yesterday it was revealed, 2 days ago it was
Okay, it looks like he's going to start leaning a little bit away from Afghanistan. If you guys did stick around, thanks for watching the video. It's heavy stuff, and again, it's going to be a heavy interview. Hopefully Shawn keeps him on point and drives home a lot of issues that we want to hear about, not just the normal talking points that he goes through in short form interviews. This one is a little over an hour, so hopefully he drills down and gets some more details. Again, thank you for stopping by, and have a wonderful week.